everybody. Here we are with fair fighting rule number 11. Listen to your partner. Please don't let the title deceive you. This is not a ho-hum subject. Listening to your partner is meant to entail using your ears, your brain, and your eyes. As we've done with so many of these other rules, let's try and apply some balance by addressing this from each partner's perspective, as when they're a speaker, as well as when they're a listener. When you're in the midst of a disagreement, there's likely a lot of words that are going to be exchanged. And the words chosen during a fight are typically more inflammatory than the words chosen during calmer moments in a relationship. And if you or your partner are not following other fair fighting rules, the words that are spoken may actually come out in a more excited manner. In a sense, you might say that during a fight, a different language is being spoken. Now, my wife's first language being Chinese means that I have acted as somewhat of a translator through all phases of our marriage, including during fights. Taking the approach that fight language is a foreign language allows you to mentally transition from being the recipient of verbal gunfire into that of being a translator. Now, you're going to want to use your ears to hear the words that are being spoken, and then you're going to want to use your brain to translate those harsh words into words that are less explosive, yet still meaningful. If you can focus your attention on translating, it will help you suppress some potential negative emotions that you might otherwise feel. But simply translating is not where you want to stop. And here's where I think it's key. You need to express to your partner how you've interpreted their words. And I'll give you an example on how you might possibly start that off. I want to understand what you just said. So let me try and express, in my own words, what it is I believe you're trying to tell me. And if I miss a main idea, or if there's any point that's important to you that I missed, just let me know. Okay, so that's one approach. Figure out what works for your personality. The point is, the simple fact that you're showing a sincere interest in their concerns, it should have a calming effect on your partner. Now, if it doesn't initially have that effect, don't despair, keep trying. But once some sense of decorum has been established, that's when the two of you can work toward resolving the issue. And that resolution might entail, educating one another on something. It might entail a compromise on each of your parts, or it might involve something else that fits the situation. Earlier, I had mentioned that you were going to need to use your eyes. Now, of course, I know that you don't use your eyes to listen. I get that. I understand that. But I didn't know where else to fit this idea in, so here goes. I want you to use your eyes to watch your partner's body language. I mean, do they refrain from making eye contact? Do they give you the cold shoulder, etc.? Now, I'm not going to try and go over endless possibilities with body language, but if your partner will allow you to touch them, do so in a reassuring, loving manner. My wife loves it when I give her a head and shoulder massage during a fight. Okay, let me back up one step. Maybe not exactly during the heat of an argument, but at some point where we have reached a level of calmness, she will allow me to touch her again. She tends to get a headache at her temples, and her shoulders tense up in an argument. So a massage helps relieve her. Generally speaking, a warm, loving touch does have a calming effect. If your partner's not ready for you to touch them, then, don't force it, of course. Just continue to work on your verbal communication techniques to try and calm the situation down to the point where a touch would be welcome. As always, I hope you've been able to glean something positive from this video, but that does bring us to the end of another round. I will offer a sincere thank you for watching. Landry, the average reasonable person.